have. Um, we are just going to basically make the indicators ourselves or whatever. We could do that own cal we could do the calculation ourselves, right? As long as we have the raw data for like the prices of whatever asset, we could make those indicators pretty easily, right? Yeah, so I'm just gonna let
Okay,
this thing.
sounds good.
Yeah, so let me just tell it that that it screwed this thing up. So can you take a look at this? For some reason, it didn't show the pie chart correctly. Even though it got the positions correctly, and it has the dollar amounts, but for some reason, the pie chart is just saying it's all unknown. Can you look into why that happened and fix it, and then verify that it's fixed using the Playwright MCP? Yeah, because this would be pretty useful too. Like check out all the positions that you have as a pie chart, for example, right? And then we'll be able to even go further than this. We'll be able to say, okay, well, which of my positions did the best? You show me like a bar chart of my most successful positions. And then you'll be able to get to a point where you could say, okay, um, how do I change this thing to, I want to move half of my U Pro position to, to whatever, to something else, right? Rebalance my thing. And I could automatically do that for you, right? So you'd be able to like directly place trades with your broker through this. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about all this stuff so far?
I'm excited, there's a lot of I've been doing like a lot of researches like on strategies.
Hmm.
So I mean, this is just gonna make it better, you know. Um, so I'm excited for it.
Nice. But what kind of research would you or what would you want to see in here? Like if this thing could do anything, if I could wave a magic wand and I could do anything, what would you want it to do?
Um, well, just the honestly, right now, the live stream with the indicators would be good, and the um, I think live stream with like Fibonacci sequence, the trace of Fibonacci sequence, Fibonacci levels. I think I would really like to see that.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
So like the streaming of indicators.
Because there's a saying, right? History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure rhymes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let me I want to send this over to Martin really quickly. Cool. Yeah. So now that we've added the ability to do all this type of charting stuff, now it's really about basically having different data sources for it, right? So it's like, okay, we can chart um, stuff from annual reports, we could chart stuff from the Treasury, interest rates, GDP, that sort of thing. Now, the next step is how do we make this thing be able to chart positions from your portfolio? And then the next step after that is how do we get to chart pricing things from your portfolio, especially things that are like indicators or whatever. All right, so that's kind of like the next step towards this. And we actually have, so this is like to give you like a little snapshot within the actual conversation, but we also have another feature called dashboards that right now is not fully working, but will be able to provide real-time information. All right, so you'll be able to set up a dashboard and you can actually watch it in real time. And I think that's probably what you'd want here. Oh, and there you go. It's fixed. Perfect. That was quick. Okay, so here's all my holdings.
Oh,
UPRO 25%, DIG. Cool, awesome. That was a quick fix. All
You
right.
know what? I was just gonna say I forgot one more thing that I would like to really see, and
Mhm.
this kind of in the option realms. But let's just say you have a huge order. We track the options, right? And you see a huge order, let's just say of puts that are going to be at a certain strike price, right? And it's huge, and you get like the machine can knows that it's huge order, so it sets it up as a support, and it's like, hey, you know what? This support just ready to be here because of this order, you know. I think that would be very beneficial, something like that,
Okay. So you're
you
talking
know.
about like basically looking at order books.
Yeah, something like because I don't know if can we do that? I don't know if we
Um,
can.
we would need to get the data for that. So
Um,
that depends again on your broker, and it depends on if that's available through an API. I
um,
think interactive brokers, that's possible. Why don't we actually ask? Let's find out. Let me ask Gemini here.
'Cause I was talking to one of my friends, and he saw, yeah, I saw somebody sell a short, I think it was like for 50 million, on shorts on a stock. And he thought, dude, if I could have just rode that, because he
Yeah, if
saw,
you see an order come through like
he's
that.
on, yeah, he's with somebody else that what they do is they do see the live orders of option trading. And when that big order came in, it triggered him. It's like, oh, dude, I just saw that. I was like, dude, wouldn't it be cool if we can just see that and like trigger us for us like to buy or sell to use that as support and resistance? That'd be so awesome. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. So if that's available through the API, then we could do it. So let me ask Gemini. Let's see. So can you tell me about the broker APIs, like for interactive brokers, Alpaca, Schwab, and Tradier especially, but also I guess Kraken and KuCoin and Coinbase. Um, do any of these APIs actually support um, being able to get order book data from the APIs? Like actually search. I'm thinking I should probably use ChatGPT for this, so it'll probably be better. But can you search their actual API docs and tell me which ones are able to support order books, or are any of them able to do that? Because we can get pricing data from them, but which one of them have level two order books? Yeah, I'm going to give this to Codex because I think it's just going to be a little bit better at doing this. There it is. Okay. Yeah, let's see what it says. Because if it's available through their API, then we can do it, right? But if we can't get it through their API, then we'll have to find either a different data source or something, you
yeah,
know?
no, I was just asking because we were discussing that, and I was like, dude, because he thought like he could have made so much money because he saw these big orders just come in, and he's all like, dude, why didn't I just freaking ride with that? You know? When you
Yeah,
see this price and you see like a big call or you see a big put come in, that's a big trigger alert. Like, hey, I'm gonna do the opposite of what that says. Like if it's a put, you're gonna make it maybe a string or a leg or two up and put a call and just ride that wave.
yeah, for sure. Order book data is definitely very useful. I definitely agree
Yeah.
with that. It's just harder to
Yeah.
come by.
No, yeah, and I understand. That's why I was just asking the question if we could do that. I was like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, because he's the one that told me, he's all like, dude, because we were talking about the market just going down. He's like, dude, I've been seeing all these big whales just shorting out the market. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's nice. So,
Yeah, for sure.
uh,
Okay, so let's see. So preliminary says interactive brokers supports depth. So that's pretty interesting. If interactive brokers has it, there's actually we could do a lot with that. It's kind of our main data source right now. Schwab appears limited, quote chain history, and traders docs list consolidate quotes streaming time and sales rather than order book depth endpoint. Let's see if any of them have it. It's usually a lot more difficult data to get. It's either more expensive or just not available with certain brokers.
Yeah, and I can see why, because I mean, it's there's no real guessing game, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you see a big order like that, like what he saw, you know, you see a big order for 50 million or $100 million, you know, for a call or put at that strike price, you know it's
Yeah.
gonna move the market.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so it's fixed there. Okay, short answer. Interactive Brokers has it. Alpaca is partial, only for crypto. Schwab, no. Tradier, no. Kraken, yes. KuCoin, yes. Coinbase Advanced, yes. So for equities, Interactive Brokers is really the only one that supports it, right? Which we support Interactive Brokers. So if you were to use Interactive Brokers, then
Yeah.
we can actually set that up. But the other brokers, it seems like it's not possible, at least for equities. For crypto, it seems all possible,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, crypto just generally have better APIs and everything. But it looks like for equities, Interactive Brokers is really the only one. Yeah.
Can't
Cool.
do natural both.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So yeah, so I'll keep that in mind in terms of pricing data and indicator data. That's something that we already kind of started working on. So we should be able to have that up and running pretty soon. Let me get this thing to look at this. Can you also take a look at this dashboard here? Why does it say dashboard error? Like this is like the regular dashboard that gets created, and the very first one even has an error. Like why is this the case? Can you please fix this? And again, use Playwright to verify that it's fixed. Actually, let me give it a bit more details around this, just in case it has any doubts what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, we made a lot of really big sweeping changes. So right now it's kind of just about adding polish for this, for all of this stuff. And then we're going to have a brand new way to actually connect to brokers, hopefully available by the end of this week. And that should unlock a lot of new stuff too. Like, for example, getting pricing data from brokers, being able to like pull what positions you have at a broker and actually just place trades directly. Like, all that stuff is going to be possible, hopefully by the end of the week or early next week. We're like aggressively working to get that finished. Because actually, I don't know if you know, but we're going to have a hackathon in about a month on July 19th. We're hosting it in San Francisco, but it's going to be a global event. So you could tune in from anywhere around the world. You can watch what we're doing in San Francisco. It's on a Sunday, I think at 1 p.m. is kind of when we're starting it off. So we're going to live stream the whole thing. And then we're going to have like cash prizes and things like that for whoever makes the best trading strategy. And it's going to look kind of like this. Here's like a preview of our hackathon. And here's kind of, well, this is, let me show you one that's running in Blotspot. Yeah, so it looks something like this, right? So here we kind of did like a mock hackathon, and these are all the different submissions that people had. So I submitted these two, right? Someone else submitted this one. They all lost money, which whatever. But yeah, you can see basically who was in first place, who was in second, and we're gonna have like a competition like this, like who can make the best trading strategy, and whoever wins that is going to get like a grand prize with like cash and a bunch of free stuff from our company. And then second place gets some cash, and third place gets some stuff as well. So we'll have like a whole contest like this. And if you want to, you could join this too. So starting on July 19th, you'll be able to submit your strategy. And if your strategy wins, you'll get a cash prize and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Anything else that you'd be interested in? We're really aggressively, like I said, working on improving this AI agent here. Is there anything else that you'd want to have from it? Or, I guess the pricing data is probably the most biggest thing you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's going great. It's just a big improvement. So, I mean, no complaints on my side.
Awesome. Yeah. Other than that, waiting for back testing, which will be fixed very soon.
Yeah, but I mean, I was asking to do some crazy stuff, so don't, I'm not too mad at it.
Oh yeah. Well, you're going
Yeah.
to be able to do a lot crazier stuff very soon. So
Oh,
that
that's good.
tool. So just to kind of tell you how that whole thing is working. So the reason why we're having a bug there is because we made like a really dramatic change in how our AI works in general. So basically, here I was showing everyone earlier where you can go in and you can basically tell it create such and such a strategy. Like I could say, make a strategy that trades SPY, and they'll go off and build it, and then we'll keep back testing until it works, right? Because in the past, you would create a strategy, and then if it had some sort of issues with it, it would kind of just stop. Whereas now it's going to keep going until it like actually is working, and you have a viable back test. And then because we've added in that sort of thing, now we could do all the stuff that we talked about in the past too, where you could say, hey, make me a strategy that does XYZ, and it'll make it for you. And you could say, keep modifying this thing until you get the annual return above 30%. And we'll just keep working on it until it accomplishes that goal, which I think will be quite useful, right? Yeah, and then same thing will be like for deployments and other things like that too. If like you deploy something, if something goes wrong, it will keep working to fix it, right? So it's going to basically have this like really strong persistence to keep going until it works, right? And that's not just for like, is the backtest working or not? It's like you could get it to ask for specific criteria. Like I could say like keep backtesting until we reach a 20% annual return or higher, right? You'll just keep trying, modifying this, modifying that until it like gets to that point. You know what
That's
I
pretty
mean?
cool because, yeah, like I said, I've been doing some crazy testing, asking some crazy questions. So I'd be amazing to set that in on auto.
Hmm. Yeah, it's something that we talked about for a while now, right? Like, I mean, we had this vision, I think even back in like January or February, and now we're finally capable of doing that, or will be capable of doing that very shortly, right? It's not something I tested yet, but the way that it's architected should allow for things like that, right? Because it's able to like plan things out and like and we call them hooks, which is a pretty common name, right? But like when a back test finishes or when a deployment finishes or like any important actions, whenever they finish, they're hooks that will go back to the AI and kind of say, hey, look, this is what happened. And then it could check its internal memory. It's like, okay, well, our goal was to get above a 20% in return. This did not accomplish that. So let's keep going, right? And let's modify this, and then run another back test and just keep doing that until it reaches its goal, right? So ideally, this thing will be able to run, you'll tell it, you know, find me something that produces an annual return over 30%, and then walk away and come back a couple hours later, and hopefully you'll have something ready for you, right? I think that'd be pretty cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's I showed you guys a bunch of things that we could do here. Anything else? Any other questions or comments about like things you guys would want or how you guys would want this thing to work or not work? Any other questions around all that or thoughts? Okay, cool. All right, so let's get back into the voting thing here. So we pull out the poll.